Hello guys, and welcome back to the part 6 of this challenge. So this is delegation. The goal of this level is for us to claim ownership of the instance you're given. Look into the documentation on Delegatecall. It's a low-level function. We have talked about this in our YouTube video, and there should be a card up here talking about it. Then we should look at fallback methods and method IDs. Okay, let's get new instance. It's been confirmed. So the first thing we can see here is that there's an owner variable here and there's an owner variable here. And there's a constructor that initializes the owner. There's also a constructor that initializes owner. And there's a function that sets owner to message or sender. And what we have to do is claim ownership. So we have to find a way to call this function. Let's just see what we can do. Remember, Delegatecall is a low-level function of the address data type that keeps the context of the smart contract. So if this function is calling this function, delegate calling this function, the message or sender will be the message or sender here. It will be this contract. In the fallback method, there's a delegate call to this function and passing the message or data. So what you need to know is that when we are trying to use the call method in our video, when we are using the call method, we had to pass in the signature of the function we're trying to call. Then we encoded it with abi.encode with signature, and that's converted it to a byte. So this is getting the message or data. If we can pass the byte of this function, to this fallback function, then we can get the ownership. Just see if the function ID is already there for us. We'll call contract. Let's see. The method IDs. Okay, so there are no method ID. Even if they are, to be hard finding them. Okay, so there are no method ID. Let's write help. Let's call the send transaction. So the send transaction will trigger the fallback method of this. So we are sending transaction. It should be contract send transaction. So we are sending this transaction. We have to specify, we can specify the value here, we can specify the data here, we can specify the from and to address. So the from address will be the player. The from address will be the player. Since we are using the contract, there's no need adding a to address. But if this contract wasn't here, let's just have this. If we didn't use the contract, we are just using the send transaction, we have to specify the to address. And comma, the to address will be the contract, which is the level address, which is this. No, the instance actually. Let's just say the one we are using is the instance. So specify instance, and we need to specify the data, which will be the message of data. The data needs to be the encoded signature of the PWN function. And the way to get that data, we can open our Remix IDE, so we can get the function ID. Okay, in our Remix IDE, we can use this function. We can create a function here that gets PWN sig. So this function, let me just increase this. So this function should be a pure function, public, and returns bytes memory. What this function should do is just to return abi.encode with signature. We are encoding the header of the function we're trying to call. Right here, we specified the header of the function. The function we're trying to get is this PWN. So the PWN, it takes no parameters, so just this. And add a semicolon. Okay, let's deploy this contract. And we'll get sig. This is the function ID. So we'll copy this. We'll come over here. The data should be this. And we should call the function and see what happens. Hopefully, if we are correct, this will call the fallback function and passing this message to sender, being an encoded version of the PWN. This will send a delegate call to this function. And since delegate call keeps the states or context of a smart contract, the message or sender will be our address. It won't be this contract address. It won't be this contract address. It will be our address, the address that started this transaction. So the message, it will assign us as the owner. Because the slot 0 here is owner and the slot 0 here is also owner. This here will change the variable of the delegation and not the delegates. If you're confused, check my videos on Delegatecall. So the owner should be our address. We can check this using contract.owner and this. Just await this. I always forget to do this. So as you can see, we have this C45C. We can check it here, C45C. So we are not the owner of this contract. And then we can submit this instance. Okay, this transaction will be confirmed. And voila, we completed this level 2. Delegate call function is a powerful feature, but a dangerous one, and must be used with extreme care. So never use a delegate call when it's not needed, when it's not necessary. And there's a hack here. How they stole 30 million USD from a smart contract. So that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and in the next video we'll talk about force, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.